The dollar was a lot weaker. And I remember when we were changing money to the naira, we always lose because the naira is far more stronger than the dollar. But the reverse is the case. Still, I would say those were the good old days compared to now. Today, I weep for my own children, for the children that have nowhere, no place to go, and absolutely nothing to do. I do not advocate for war in this country. There is no small war. There is no small war. What Igboho was doing, no man, whoever is thinking that Igboho is doing the wrong thing, I will ask that person to go and examine his head. If you are the person, if you are the one, will you allow people to come into your house, damage your house, beat your people up? Those people that are attacking Igboho, if God raised somebody to defend his own people, why will you want to tell me that it's not a good thing?
Well, it's another very wonderful, lovely day in the city of Lagos, somewhere between Lagos and Ondo State in Nigeria, West Africa, as we meet a very, very unique Nigerian, an important African, and a classical world citizen. A man who has seen it all in his own life, a man who has contributed to the body of aviation and to the body of the knowledge of even the art of flying in Nigeria. He's a great man who has contributed his quota not only to Nigeria but to Africa and to the world at large. And I'm privileged to meet this man. He's a septuagenarian. He's very hard to find, but luckily by a stroke of luck and by the grace of the special grace of Almighty God, through some very, very influential connection, we're able to meet him and to get him here in Lagos. And today he's going to be sharing knowledge with us, especially on life, on philosophies of life, on growing, and on the project Nigeria and Yoruba land. I'm talking of Superior Evangelist Geoffrey Olujimi Olorunshola. He is the first trained pilot in the Nigerian Air Force in Kaduna. He is the first Nigerian trained pilot in the Nigerian Air Force, and he has contributed so much. Very well learned, man of influence, a man of impeccable achievement. We are privileged to meet him today. Daddy, we are so honored to meet you today, and I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. May God bless you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Yes, how do you really feel today in the affairs of our nation? You are one of those who saw Nigeria when Nigeria was still beautiful, when Nigeria was growing out of its what can I call it? Its challenges in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. So, how will you say you feel now, being a Nigerian and an African?
I have to say there is a pain in my heart. Considering the time past and the time present. When we were growing up, Nigeria was one of the best African nation, the best of the best in Africa. Things,
You have a pain.
things are actually not the way I wanted it. In our days, this country was one of the best in Africa. It's a country to emulate. In everything, we come first. And other countries come around to watch and to copy the Nigerians. I joined the Air Force in 1965. But in 1966, we already started flying. In 1966, there was a coup by which even my own uncle, Brigadier Ademlegun, was assassinated. It was a terrible period in the lives of Nigerians. Certain elements turned the coup around and used it to their own advantage. All the top officials were let go. All the pilots that were Southerners were let go.
You mean they were sacked?
They just said they don't need us anymore without explanation, because we have passed the military test, we have passed the flying test, but they intentionally sacked all of us, grounded us, and make us to leave the Air Force without any reason. My uncle at the time wanted to sue them, because you cannot just, if all these boys have passed their tests, what is your reason for discharging them just like that. So I have to find my way back to United States, where I now started studying engineering. I did engineering and I worked for many years in Shell Petroleum, Nigeria, as an instrumentation and control system engineer. Still, I would say those were the good old days compared to now. Today, I weep for my own children, for the children that have nowhere, no place to go, and absolutely nothing to do. It created a lot. It created a lot of controversies. The country we are in should be revisited. The country we are in, the elders of this country should sit down and they should find a way to correct the illness, to correct what the Northerners have done. Which is, to me, is irreparable.
So even before we talk about what you think that the Northerners have done, let's quickly go back to 1965-66. That coup, a lot of people felt that it was a coup of like mind. That is some analysts, but some other people felt it was a coup of the Southeastern, maybe because of the anchor of the coup, Colonel Kaduna Ezego.
I will not conclude nor agree to those people, because as at the time Ojukwu was in Kano and he didn't know what was going on. These youngsters believed that what was going on in the country was terrible. It is just perhaps 1/10 of what's going on now, with killing and maiming and doing all kinds of terrible things in the country. And as at that time, people were not happy because they call it wet here.
In the Southwest.
In the Southwest. And the whole country was in a turmoil. But when that first coup came, it wasn't meant to be a sectional coup. It was meant to correct and bring back to order what has been ailing this country. But unfortunately, so many people believed that this coup is sectional or was sectional. And as a result, there was a counter coup. The rest is history, whereby people started killing, people started maiming, and the future of Nigeria from that time on has never settled.
What kind of person was your brother Ademulegun, and what was his role in the coup and in the stability of the country at that time? If you look at him closely.
Ademulegun was the next in command to Ironsi, but they killed him. They killed his wife, even in the presence of the children.
So they assassinated the two in the bedroom.
Yes. So it was a terrible thing, which in my heart it can never be erased. It's indelible. I will go to his house over the weekend because we were both in Kaduna. And he will give me anything I like to eat. And unfortunately, things fall apart. And the center couldn't hold. But what is going on now is worse, because look at all this killing going around. Nobody cares. Everybody is looking for a way to make money. Everybody is looking for a way to satisfy themselves and their family. That's it. The country is in a dilemma, a really big one, because I do not advocate for war in this country. There is no small war. There is no small war.
No matter how it looks like.
No matter how you look at it. I'm definitely opposed to going to war. But I will say the elders of this country, particularly the Yorubas and the Igbos, they should sit down and think and plan this thing thoroughly. What is needed to be planned? What I'm thinking is that the people of yesteryears, their glory, when I say yesteryears, I mean Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Pa Awolowo. Those were the great people of the old. We can still see many of these people if we carefully sit down and go through to say, no, our country must be better than this. Look at the value of the dollar
To the naira.
to the naira. 500. It's insane. When I was growing up, or when I first got to United States, the naira was much stronger than the dollar.
How do you mean, sir? I can't believe this.
Yes,
Those days?
in those days. Excuse me. The dollar was a lot weaker. And I remember when we were changing money to the naira, we always lose because the naira is far more stronger than the dollar. But the reverse is the case. But never can I think that a day will come when naira will be will be 500 to one single dollar. It is highly, highly, highly discouraging.
Now, let's even go back before we go into Nigeria. Really, why did you join the Air Force then? Why did you decide to be a pilot? Was it an accidental discretion, or it was something that you decided from your heart that you want to be a pilot?
No, it has been in my blood. As at the time, I got scholarship because Nigeria was a battlefield between United States and Russia.
The capitalists and the communists.
Yes, and Russia will come in and offer scholarships. I got scholarship to go to Russia to study medicine. But as the same year, I got admitted to Nigerian Air Force. Nigerian Air Force was like NDA. And my plan, my will to fly was far more than being a doctor.
Oh, your will to be in the sky was far more than to operate on the surgeon table.
Yes. So I choose to be a pilot rather than a medical doctor, which I'm regretting till today.
Why are you regretting, sir? But you enjoyed it then.
Oh yes, if I've not been discharged from the Air Force, I will have said, oh, my wish, has been met. But unfortunately, I couldn't finish or weren't allowed to finish my flying career. So, because most of my friends that went to Russia, they are now medical doctors.
Professional ones?
Yes. I could mention so many, like Dr. Dakbo or Jenny. She's a medical doctor trained in Russia. Yeah. So, it is a big shame, that you have a career, you cannot.
It was cut short.
It was cut short.
But sir, I wonder what peculiar situation were you removed? Was it that they just felt you are just from Southerner, or they felt threatened about your intellectual sagacity? What really happened, and under what were you told to leave?
They suddenly came and said to us, all Southerners, we don't think you can, continue here. Why? Because we have fulfilled all obligations. Why in the world? But there wasn't anybody to even fight for us, to stand for us. Even amongst the Yoruba elites, which I was expecting at that time for somebody to say, oh no, you can't do this. Nobody. And we were just thrown out just like that.
The system.
Of the system.
And the northerners were retained?
The northerners were retained. My roommate was Moses Gowon, the same brother of General Yakubu Gowon. We shared the same dorm in the Air Force. But those were not, they weren't sacked. You know.
How does that make you feel then? Does it make you feel so crazy, bad?
You think of it, how you yourself will feel.
I mean, so bad.
I mean, you cry and cry and cry, but nobody to come to your aid. It was from then I knew that this country, the measure for the northerners is not the same as with the southerners. This day, it's still happening. It's still I mean, I'm not afraid to say it because that's the truth.
So you mean that there is special treatment? There is a kind of
special treatment. Even when you look at the degree, or you look at the standards, you see that why is someone favored over the other, even when the academic qualification is much lower. You know.
You call it quota system?
Yeah, they call it quota system. You know.
As at that time, you said there were elite in Yoruba land, people like Chief Obafemi Awolowo, people like Chief Bode Thomas, and people like who again, even Ladoke Akintola, all of them. So why didn't they aggregate themselves into a kind of legal force to say, oh, these young guys should not be thrown out of the system without...
Nobody knew anything of what was going on. Nobody knew. Just like now, nobody knew what was going on until most of the northerners have changed everything, the constitution, everything you can think of in this country. Yeah.
No. Will you now say that at this moment now, looking at it with the benefit of hindsight, will you say that the Yoruba agitation is genuine or is still a wrong proposal?
Yoruba agitation is absolutely genuine, but in my own opinion, I'm not saying in the general consensus, in my own opinion, war is not something we should. You have to be absolutely ready. Look at the northerners are fully ready. They have arms and ammunition hidden all over the south. Every day, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, they caught people with arms and ammunition somewhere around Akure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think I saw it somewhere in the news.
Yes.
And that they had an accident or something like that.
Yes. But it was good. Nobody touched them. Nobody attacked or did anything to them. They just called the police and let the law take his own course. But that's what we're talking about. You know, so they have concealed weapon all over the south. and we think we are ready. We are not ready. Yes.
Will you say the Yorubas, looking at us as a very intellectual people, Yorubas generally, will you say they are so docile when it comes to understanding the environment and maybe people that surround them? Because you could say that Yorubas are very intellectually, they are intellectually gifted, but are you saying they're politically docile?
Highly politically docile. People, as I look at it, people only think of themselves. They don't care. Look at United States, for instance. United States care more. They don't care if they eat or not. They prefer to make sure that everybody is satisfied. But the politicians here, particularly in the South, the politicians here, particularly in the South, they only care about themselves. And I can cite many instances. You are given food during the COVID period to serve the people, for God's sake.
Yes.
The masses, the people who are suffering, people who are really, really hungry, but you store them away, waiting for the time you're going to sell them. It is. There's nothing terrible, more terrible than that. Whereas your children are well fed. It is.
In fact, that brought me to the issue of even the church itself. That during the COVID, we have a lot of churches that were begging people to still pay their offerings and their tithe, despite the condition that there's no job. People are holed up in their houses and all that. What do you think is the role of the church, and do you think the church also goofed at this time, and what do you think the church has turned to in your own time and now?
The church, I would say that I'm not going to comment on other churches, but the Cele that I know.
Celestial Church of Christ.
Yes, that I've been in for quite a long time now. Cele will not ask you to come and donate your tithe when they know people are suffering. If you have the money, then you can do so. But if you don't have it, they don't force you to do so. Cele will prepare, even myself as an old man, Cele gives me food. It's not that I don't have, but they make sure that the old people, they are fed. They make sure that they bring food to you inside your house, so that you don't have to go out there looking for food. So, for me, those churches, look at the history, look at the background, look at what their pastors are doing.
Jet flying pastors.
Exactly. A pastor will be flying and riding a prestigious car to church, and your congregation going on slippers that is all torn out. You don't do anything about that. But you are only concerned about the donation. Well, I will not say anything, because I will say let God take total control of that. That's what I can say.
God should be the chief judge?
Yes, let him be the chief judge of that. Yes.
But sir, before we go back to you are talking about calling elders to rescue the nation from falling apart. I mean, are you talking about elders like General Obasanjo or one Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Who are the elders you are talking about in this context?
Those are the very ones I'm talking about. Those are the very ones who should look back and see how people are suffering. They should go out there into the street. I mean, I just came back from United States and I see with my eyes how people are really, really suffering. Hunger. Oh my goodness. It is terrible. It is really terrible. It's so pathetic and so sad. You know, the roads unkept, the roads terrible, and I just shake my head. Yeah.
But are you saying that maybe if you have a meeting with the president now, General Buhari, what are you going to tell him? If you have a one-on-one with him now, what's going to be your discussion with him?
I personally campaigned seriously for General Buhari when I was in the United States, going around to make sure that the people in the diaspora call home to tell their people that they must vote Buhari in, with the belief that he is still the Buhari of old. I'm so sad to see that with all this killing, all these killings going on, it is unbelievable that nothing is done. We just heard about how many people they killed, was it 2-3 days ago?
The number is just growing almost every day.
Every day.
Kidnapping of students in schools.
Nobody is saying anything.
It appears that they are doing, but it's not enough.
Absolutely not enough. Absolutely not enough at all. He made a law, which is a good one. Any man seen with AK-47 should be shot. Because you don't have any reason to be carrying AK-47 in this country. You don't. I mean, why will you be carrying AK-47? For what reason? They should arrest those people outright and discipline them. Buhari said it, but I want people to implement it.
Like a presidential order.
Exactly. Let them implement it. Let them, tell the world at large that this is what Nigeria is, not the way we're thinking they are. Because you cannot just be killing and killing and killing like it doesn't even matter. Children, you just kill.
So let's even come back to the state of the nation now. It's such a bad situation. You look at the Hadak and farmers clash in the southwestern Nigeria. Before we were saying that it was in northeastern part that people were being killed by the Boko Haramists and the sergeants and all that. But look at the attacks in Igboho, in Abeokuta, and some other environments. And recently we have a young man who called himself Chief Sunday Igboho, aka Majasula Babadami, or Igboho How or something like that, coming out to fight and say it is enough. Stop killing my people. Stop intruding our farms. It did a lot in that ACs, especially in Ondo State. But just last week, these Fulani people came back and killed and burned, and there was a lot of killing, shelling, and destruction of cars, houses, and people's lives. What is your perception of about Sunday Igboho?
Well, if I may ask you, if somebody suddenly bursts into your house and started not even shooting or killing, but started boxing and rummaging and damaging and kicking everybody in the family right in that house, what will you do?
I'm going to attack him promptly.
Of course. That's exactly what it is. Because I remember when I was very, very young. I think I was in Abeokuta as at the time. My father was the postmaster there. And we went to fetch water. And these guys came to attack us. Just a fight over whose turn is it to get water. But I saw they were beating my sister. I have no alternative than to run down there and not caring whether they can beat me or not. I fought and I fought everyone off.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in the same vein, what Igboho was doing, no man, whoever is thinking that Igboho is doing the wrong thing, I will ask that person to go and examine his head. If you are the person, if you are the one, will you allow people to come into your house, damage your house, beat your people up, and won't you react? Of course, you will react.
So Igboho is right on course.
But absolutely, 100%. He has my support. Yes.
But what do you see about people that are now vilifying him, saying that he's trying to, that is an agitator, and they want to, it appears that they want to stifle him, or they want to demonize the tag of an agitator against him?
Those people, I will tell you, they have nothing to say or nothing to do. They are the enemies of the people. They are enemies of the people.
The Yorubas.
Those people that are attacking Igboho, if God raised somebody to defend his own people, why will you want to tell me that it's not a good thing? To me, it is. He has done so well. And if we have people like him, look at the, what was that, the war at the time?
Okay, is it the Biafra war?
No, the
clergy war?
No, with the old Agbekoya.
Okay, the Igboho.
Yes. Look at the Igboho. It was fantastic.
The coordination.
The coordination. So, as far as that is concerned, I would prefer people of that caliber with the spiritual people. When I say spiritual, I'm talking in terms of calling the name of the supreme being to come and intervene so that people can know that there is God. Yes. People can know that there is God. So that's my submission on that.
But you've not answered the question that when you see Buhari, you told us that you campaigned for him verbatim in America. But if you're sitting with him now and you are permitted to meet him, are you going to be laughing with him or you're going to be frowning?
I'm definitely going to be frowning because most of the things that I expected him to do, he hasn't done them. He hasn't done them. I expected him, looking at him the way he was, I was expecting he's going to be somebody who will say, oh, this killing shouldn't be. And he knows how to defend this country. If this continues like he's doing, it means he cannot be the president. It means he cannot defend this country. He cannot defend this country. That's what that means. You know, people cannot be dying and hungry and he cares less, because that's precisely what I'm thinking, and that's what people in overseas are thinking. That
the Nigerian diaspora.
Yes, that this man cares less about the people, you know. So that's my own. I will tell him, sir, you are not the man I thought you used to be. You are not the one that I voted for. You are somebody else. Yes.
And after saying that, what do you think? Do you think he's going to take it? He's going to listen to you?
If he's a good man, he will reconsider. He will sit down and think over it. You know, he will reconsider his ways. You know, because sometimes he disappeared that we don't even see him. Some people in overseas were saying he's dead because we just couldn't locate him, or he's not coming out to talk to the people. It's not many dying right, left, and center, bloodshed all over the place, and he's not coming out to say a thing. So it's terrible.
So growing up, really, which among them do you think was the nearest to the best Nigerian leader that you have ever observed? You know, we've gone from the era of what they call him, the first regime of Nnamdi Azikiwe, and the other one is it Tafawa Balewa. We've gone to Aguiyi Ironsi, to General Yakubu Gowon, to General Murtala Mohammed, to General Olusegun Obasanjo, to Alhaji Shehu Shagari, to General Buhari and the Diagbon, down to General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, down to General Sani Abacha. Even Shonekon was in between as interim, then back to back from Abacha, who suddenly died, to Absalami Abubakar, General Absalami, then down to democracy of General Olusegun Obasanjo, down back to democracy of late Umar Yar'Adua, down to Goodluck Jonathan, then down to the same old Buhari, who is now in democratic gap. Who among them will you say is the nearly or the best one that we had since 1960?
Uh, I would honestly say Awolowo.
Why? But he didn't rule.
It doesn't matter.
You mean Obafemi Awolowo?
What? Yes, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. What he did till this day
In Western region?
in Western region, and not only in Western region, because he created this Northerners. What's the word I'm just looking for? He created
Is it the free education?
the free education. He took it to the north, and he made the Northerners to come up, to bring them up to our level. Even I say to myself, he overdid it, in the sense that look at what is going on now. People that can't even, they are brought up there to be the manager, the leader, whereas those under them are the one doing the job. You know. So to me, he tried for the Northerners. He tried.
Ascension.
Exactly.
So why did you think he didn't make it to become the leader, supreme leader?
Because the people, when I say the people, I mean your own people, the Yorubas. That's why I told you, Yorubas, they are selfish. They only know for themselves and for themselves alone. They don't care about any other people. As long as their family is well fed and they are well fed, period. They don't care about the rest of the people. So in that vein, I think Awolowo will never do half of what they are doing now. No way. He's a man with, a man with a mind of high intellect, that he will he thinks far ahead. You know.
When you say he came far ahead of his age and his time?
Both, yes. Yes.
Are you also joining late General Ojukwu to say he was the best president Nigeria never had?
Oh yes. Honestly, I echo that saying all the time, and that is absolutely true. You know, it's true. Yes.
He was the best president Nigeria didn't have.
The best president Nigeria never ever had.
Can you compare with General Obasanjo? Is there any room for comparison?
I will never, because in all honesty, I cannot see what Obasanjo really did. I don't see it.
Even during the second time as a Democrat?
Well, yeah, to me, it's just people come all over to say most of the government property which he himself acquired, was that done in the Awolowo era? No. You cannot see that done during the Awolowo era. You know, all these acres of land, and I hate to just say, well, let's see what God will do.
So let me ask you that: when you went to USA, what was life like for you, and what did you discover in the United States, and why did you stay so long?
Well, when I went to US, I went primarily to study. And the moment I got my engineering degree, I came back home and was lucky to be admitted into Shell Petroleum because I did instrumentation and control system engineering. And I worked there for 13 years and I was retired. I wanted to stay in Nigeria after my retirement.
What were you retired?
What
year were you retired, sir?
That was 1990. Oh my goodness. 1990. I can't know the exact year, but if you put 2 and 2 together, you add 13 years to 86.
Okay.
Because that would be 99.
99, yeah.
Yes.
1999.
Yes, that's when I retired and went back to US.
Why did you decide to go back to US? You'll have started a new life in Nigeria, maybe in your country home.
Yes, but things started getting to be tough. As at the time, the dollar started rising, and the dollar was 1 to 4. That is $1 to 4 naira. That was the rate as at the time, $1 to 4 naira. And it wasn't a good time because it's tough, you know, really tough for the kids to go to university. So when I got to US, my idea was to train my children.
Okay.
And I sent them to the university. I started training them. So that's
it was purpose to raise your family properly.
Yes.
In its sane society.
And I was in the church. I was a shepherd. And I came back now. I have my own church. I just built my church, and I come home to dedicate the church and to put the altar, down.
To put the altar for God.
For God.
God's altar, to institute it.
Yes, so that people can be worshiping there, and that's it.
Can you share some of the experiences in the US with me? What do you think that society meant, and how will you define that society away from the Nigerian society? What are those benefits that a man like you benefited there, or an average person benefits in that kind of a society?
Well, I will say there is no comparison. The reason I'm saying that is that people here, even the so-called Christians who believe they are Christians, they suck money out from other believers. I don't want to say non-believers. They suck money out of all other believers. When you have to tell them on Monday you must be in church, on Tuesday it's another this for that, on Wednesday please come. When is that person going to go to work
Or be productive?
and be productive? It's not so in the US. If you don't come to work, you are gone. You are fired. There's no
Sentiment.
I mean, it's either you want to work or you want to stay in your church to give you money. You know. So it is.
Even here, the church leaders are saying that if you don't pay your tithe, you are not going to heaven. Is that like that in US? If you don't pay tithe, if you don't pay offering, you are as good as going to hell.
That's not. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true.
You find yourself in the capacity to enlighten some of these leaders that are church bourgeoisie in this part of the world, in Nigeria. What are you going to tell them on religion and church budgeting?
Well, in all honesty, I tell them, don't let money rule you. Let the Lord that you are worshiping rule you, and impact that on the minds of the people. All this money, you're definitely going to leave them behind you. You're not going to carry them away with you.
Even the private jets,
Even the private jets
and the limousines.
and all the limousines in the world that you have. When the Lord says it's time, pens up. That's it. You're not carrying anything to anywhere. You know, you came in naked and you're going back the same way. You're not taking anything with you.